One perfect jumping jack. One perfect jumping jack. Ready.
Darnold fakes a screen, fires one left sideline, wide open, making the catch at the 10. Chris Herndon walks into the end zone. Touchdown.
And this is Murray. He took off.
To stop the clock with 18.
Welcome to the Jets Cast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Craig Jardula, but everybody calls me Pasta, and across from me is my man, Ronnie from New Jersey. How you doing, Ronnie?
I'm doing fantastic, Pasta. I'm excited about this podcast, or the Jets Cast, as we're dubbing it right now. I think it's going to be great. I think there's a lack of stuff out there in the market for the Jets. I mean, not for nothing. It's New York City. We need to have a better presence, and I think we're the perfect people to bring it to them.
You know what? I can't agree with you more on that, because I think this is long overdue. We've done our due diligence, and the one thing we definitely have in common is that we're diehard Jet fans. We follow the Jets religiously, and I think we can bring a great perspective to the people out there who are going to be watching. So let's just dive right into it. Let's talk about topic number one, because I know you wanted to talk about free agency, because where we are today, the Jets have made some big signing, including one Le'Veon Bell, who I think was the best player in free agency by far. But I'd like to get your comments on that. What grade would you give the Jets right off the bat for their free agency? And let's talk about it.
You got to give them an A. I mean, you have to give them an A. What did they do? They shored up a bunch of different levels. They shored up the defense with C.J. Mosley. Phenomenal signing. The kid's going to bring nothing but leadership. He's a captain over there in Baltimore. It's going to be great. He's going to be vocal. He's going to be all over the field. You add the guard, Osimile from Oakland. Mm-hmm. He's just a mauler. I mean, this guy is going to – again, that wasn't free agency. That was a trade, but it was a beautiful job by Maccagnan to grab this guy for a late-round pick. And he's going to just pave the way. We needed help on the offensive line, but Le'Veon Bell was the crown jewel. Everybody knows. He took a year off. The kid's healthy.
Yeah.
He's ready to go. He's got a lot to prove now, and I think he's going to do just that for us. I'm excited.
I think I have that down too as well. Rested body is the number one thing. This guy took a year off, and he could play wide receiver or running back. And I think in the Adam Gase offense, this guy is going to really, really shine. But what really stood out to me, Ron, is I told you got to go back and see it, was his interview in Sports Illustrated. Because with the rap album coming out, with him holding out for a year, the media kind of tore him apart, made him look selfish, made him look like he wasn't a team player. But he explained his position, and he really came off as somewhat of a humble guy. He wasn't too flashy. He did have a big chain. He did have a big watch. But listening to him, he just had a problem with the way Pittsburgh was running things over there. This kind of hierarchy of sorts where some of the people underneath the management in Pittsburgh and Ben Roethlisberger were made to look like second-class citizens. And he wasn't digging that, and that's what he really digged about New York.
I mean, look, there's nobody denying it. He was abused in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He rushed the ball 300 and something touches a year.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was getting the ball 20 to 25 times a game in the backfield and then catching 5 to 10 passes a game. I got a stat for you. In Jets history, in the history of the Jets, there's only been one player that has had 1,800 plus yards in a season, and that was Curtis Martin. Le'Veon Bell has done it 3 out of the last 4 seasons.
Yeah.
He's going to elevate everybody's game. You're going to have to focus on him, which is going to open up Herndon in the slot. It's going to open up Robbie Anderson on the outside, a Nunwa underneath. And we didn't even talk about Jamison Crowder.
That's who's going to really open it up, coming over to play the slot. Yeah.
This kid is so fast.
And he's smart.
His routes. He runs routes phenomenally. We went from pedestrian offense to all of a sudden we're going to be giving defensive coordinators fits, no doubt.
Yeah, it's funny that you pointed it out, because when I saw the Crowder free agent signing, I was a little surprised, but I was quite happy with it. He was like one of the only guys I really liked on that Washington team. If you're a fantasy player like we are, you're going to know how many Washington wide receivers you'll lose out on, whether it be Doxson or Terrell Pryor was there and stuff like that. Crowder, if he didn't get hurt, I think would have.
Yeah, when healthy, the kid's phenomenal.
He did. He really was, and it was a great signing. But let's talk about some of the questionable signings as well, because we talked about Le'Veon Bell. We talked about C.J. Mosley, which I also want to reiterate that the money that we saved on Le'Veon Bell, because he got $13.5 million a year, and we were able to get him that, and he was able to sign for that because he liked the guaranteed money. We spent a little bit extra on Mosley, but you're going to still get the production out of CJ.
Yeah.
So I think it was great. I think it was great balancing out by Maccagnan. We talked about Osamale. I think this guy was an all-pro. He's very versatile. He can play left guard, right guard. He's played a little
First
tackle.
team All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler. Last year he got hurt.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit fought a little bit with Chucky, so they sent him out the door. Pretty much barely got him for nothing. I think it was a great pickup. But now we have to talk about the questionable ones, because the only thing the Jets really had that was unbelievable, besides a bright future possibly with a lot of our young players, was our special teams. And it was our kicker and our kick returner. And both of them, Ronnie, are not coming back next year. Isn't that cause for concern? And is Maccagnan taking a chance here? Maccagnan?
You don't take a chance with the kicker. Yeah. I mean, the kicker is you need an automatic kicker. You need someone who's got the range from 55 plus yards, and it's not even a thought. You're not thinking about going for that 4th and 4 because it's a 56-yarder. You're automatic. It's not even a question. Go get 3 points. And losing the kicker is definitely devastating. And they only saved about $3 million a year. I mean, we're not talking about a lot of money.
He got $5 million to go kick for Seattle. So, I mean.
Right. And we signed Canzero back, who had a good year for us 2 years ago, but then went down to Tampa Bay and got cut. Yep. He missed 4 extra points. I have it over here. We saved $3 million. In Tampa Bay last year, he got cut quickly. He missed 4 out of 15 field goals and 4 extra points. You're kicking a ball, so it shouldn't matter who you're kicking it for. The fact that scares me a little bit. I liked Canzero when he was a Jet.
Yeah.
But last year, Myers was just absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, signing Crowder, I think that they're going to use him a little bit in the return game.
Hopefully.
Who else are you going to put back there? I mean,
that is a big question, and maybe
it scares me. Roberts was phenomenal, and losing the 2 of them for the amount of money that we should have been paying them. It makes no sense. You have 3 Pro Bowls on their team last year, and you get rid of 2 of them?
Yeah, you do. They did, and it was a chance we have to take. And once again, we don't know what's going on in Cantazaro's mind when he was missing those kicks down there. Kickers can be a really funny kind of subject at times. They have little tweaks in their head. But I am more concerned, too, about the Robertson situation. Maybe it will be addressed in the draft. Maybe Crowder can return some kicks, but it is a cause for concern. Let's talk about another questionable free agency pick, Ron, because I think this was a strictly, in my mind, a defensive-minded pick, being that Greg Williams could use a Brian Poole to rush offside the edge as an outside rusher coming in from the secondary. But it is a questionable pick because they just let him walk.
Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, in my mind, he's better. He fits better with Greg Williams' defense. He's a little bit tougher. He's a much better tackler than Buster Skrine was. I think it's an upgrade at the position and saved a tremendous amount of money. The money that they gave to Skrine out there to play nickel they gave him a lot out there in Chicago. This kid is a good blitzer. He did play college ball with Marcus May out in Florida.
Yeah, he did.
So I think that's going to be. I think it's going to be good. I think that was a good signing. I didn't mind it at all. I wasn't a huge Buster Skrine fan. It seemed to me like every time we were getting beat, it was because he was either getting a penalty or he was getting beat.
He was.
So I'm not upset with that. One thing that did bother me, that the more I read into it, the more I understood it. I didn't like losing Josh McCown. I don't know what his deal is. I know we paid him $10 million, which is way too much for a backup, and we obviously didn't need that. So saving the money on Trevor Siemian, I think, wasn't bad. Another smart guy. He's going to be able to help.
Guy, yeah.
He's very smart. He's going to be able to help Sam out, I think, but he's not going to be that much of a mentor to him because he's not that old. I mean, he's kind of young. It's hard to look at a mentor when he's only a couple years older than somebody, but I hope McCown comes back as a coach in some way. I would love for him to be on this staff.
Yeah.
I think he could still play, which will probably prevent him from doing that. But we'll see. I know that he loved the Jets. I know that he loved living in the Florham Park area. He actually picked my son to win the costume contest for the Jets family and friends. My son was my 2-year-old son was what's his name?
He's either a class act guy, whatever. I'm glad he did pick your son. Everybody likes McCown, but I think with the signing of Trevor Siemian, it says to us that McCown has given some type of signal that he is not going to be returning back as the quarterback. But hey, maybe he does return as a coach. So we'll see. How about some of the re-signings? Because this leads into it right now. We're talking about Henry Anderson got re-signed back. Now, this guy had 3 sacks in 3 years with the Colts. He comes to the New York Jets, and he ends up with 7 sacks. And I think it wasn't just not, a lot of people said it was the system. Now he's better set for a system. But I think that has a lot to do with the line he was playing next to, because he's got a guy like Leonard Williams who's going to take on double teams and let this guy get free and get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had a great year for the Jets. I was excited that we were able to re-sign him. I think you can never have enough defensive linemen. You got to put pressure on a quarterback to win in this league, especially if you don't have shutdown corners. And at the moment right now, I don't think we really have them. Hopefully Tremaine will actually pick up to where he was out in LA, because he sure as heck didn't have a good season last year. Yeah. I think Greg Williams will actually bring the best out of him because of the amount of pressure we're going to be getting up front. And he's not going to have to sit on an island for a real long time, hopefully. But I love the Anderson signing again. I think that he's going to be solid, but I hope that he's a rotational guy, because I hope with the 3rd pick we'll do something. We're going to get into the draft in a little bit, but
don't get ahead of yourself there, pal. I've been jonesing to talk about this draft, but I want to wait, because you know what I'm saying. And a lot had to do with this particular guy that we re-signed, because we're also going to talk about the past drafts from Maccagnan. But before we get into that, how about the re-signing of Darryl Roberts? What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good corner. He had a good year last year for the Jets. I like the kid a lot. 1 year, $4.5 million cash offer. It's we'll see.
Yeah, it's a prove me contract.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
This other signing, the re-signing from the Jets, Steve McClendon, another one. And listen, let's not forget that McClendon was a signing to replace Damian Harrison, who left, who obviously deserved the money, but at that time we had such a crowded defensive line with Muhammad and Richardson. We didn't know what we were going to do, that we let Damian Harrison walk. I think we got a compensation pick for him, but McClendon was also signed, and he really did. He might not have performed at the level of Harrison, but he did perform well, and he is a locker guy. Your thoughts on him? You played the position.
I like him. That is the position I played. The nose tackle it's a solid position to play. You got to be able to play both gaps. You got to be solid against the run. I mean, you got to be basically an immovable object. You got to be someone who's sucking. If you're not a nose tackle in the NFL unless you force a double team. You have got to have a guard and a center account for you, which frees up the linebackers behind you. I personally don't think that we're going to stick to this 3-4. I know Greg Williams kind of said that we were. I actually think that our personnel, even under Bowles, is better suited for a 4-3, because we never really had that outside linebacker that could put pressure on the quarterback. So I almost think that we're better off running a 4-3. I'd love to have McClendon on the inside move Williams to the outside, and then have what's his name, Anderson in there. Anderson and McClendon be the 2 defensive tackles. I think that would actually be better for us. But but the guy's versatile. The guy's solid. He's a big guy. He's great in goal line situations.
Yeah.
And then nose tackle is imperative, especially if you're going to if you're going to stay with the 3-4, which that's what they said that they're going to do.
Yeah.
You need a big nose tackle up front to kind of anchor 2 linemen, so your linebackers can run free behind.
Well, we'll also talk about that when we analyze the draft and we analyze Maccagnan, because I believe you had a situation where our boy AB, Anthony Bruno, Seton Hall Prep, mopped up because he had big Ronnie in front of him holding the load. And that's what's going on with the New York Jets.
Anthony Brennan.
I'm sorry. Now, Anthony Bruno won he went to Georgetown and became a lawyer. Anthony Brennan, the other AB.
Right. The other AB.
Seton Hall, New Jersey, Prep, whatever you call it. I heard he mopped up that year because he had big Ron in front of him. And it's kind of
breaking stats all over the state, setting records, because I was getting triple teamed at nose. Now, if you're a nose guarder, you could take up 2 blocks. You're good.
Yeah.
I was getting triple teamed. So he literally didn't get blocked. He even thanked me in his Hall of Fame speech.
We're going to have to check tape on that.
I did rocket high school football. You want to check tape?
I really think we're going to stick with the 3-4, Ronnie. Back to the Jets, because people can't forget that we had one of the top tacklers in the league in Williamson. I thought it was a great pickup. So I can see Williamson and Mosley playing next to each other in the 3-4, 2 of your inside guys, and they should mop up next year too. So
yeah. No, I think the defense is going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. I think we got the right coach, and I'm glad that Gaze understood, hey, listen, I'd rather focus on the offense. I'm going to give the defensive coordinator job to someone who could literally have carte blanche. Just run it however you see fit. We're going to compete in practice. We're going to go after it. And that's it. He wants nothing, because if you're a head coach and you're going to be calling the plays when the defense is on the field, you need to be game planning with your quarterback. You need to be looking at tape. You need to be looking at those Polaroids. You know, they used to send them down on the string, but now obviously everyone's got iPads and Surface tablets and whatnot. But you need to be in your quarterback's ear as the coordinator, as the play caller, seeing what he's saying, seeing what he likes, and that type of stuff. So I think it's a great signing. The Greg Williams actually was my favorite move of the entire year. I was a little skeptical about Gaze, but I'm coming around now that I know that Williams is taking care of the defense. Look, people want to come here now. Granted, we're paying a lot of money for them.
Yeah.
But we almost had Barr. That broke my heart. If we had Barr and Mosley, we would have been set up, and that would have been a different story. But I think we're in a good spot right now. Great coaching staff. I'm really excited. And now it's up to Maccagnan to prove it in the draft.
Just to finish up on that before we go to the next subject, I give the Jets an A for free agency. I really do. Not just because I'm being a Homer Jet fan, but they would have had an A+ had they found a way to actually get Barr to come over and sign on the dotted line, because putting him in a Greg Williams defense and letting him just go loose and go at the quarterback, I think he would have really elevated his game. However, his heart told him to stay in Minnesota. I can't hold on to that against him.
Pocket said to stay in Minnesota. I mean, come on.
He's got a good coach over there. He's got a real good coach. So, I mean, he wanted to go back and play for him. It is Minnesota. But, all right, that's for our first segment, and we're going to get on to the second segment when we get back.